Everybody, it's Maddy here. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can crochet these cute little chicken coasters. These are perfect for beginners and anyone who's looking for like a fast and quick, easy crochet project because these only take 20 to 30 minutes to make and they're just so cute. You don't have to use these as coasters. You could even put them on the wall as like wall decoration. They're like so perfect for everything. I also have tons of chickens, so this was like a really fun project for me to do because look how cute it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin. To begin making our chicken, we're going to first start off with a magic ring, and to do that, we're going to take the end of our yarn, make sure it's pointing to the right, and then you're going to wrap it around 2 fingers twice, or until you have the 2 loops on your 2 fingers like this. So we have something that looks like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand and you want to pinch all of those pieces of yarn right here. So you want to pinch it like this and then slide it off your fingers. And since you're pinching it, it shouldn't fall apart. Go ahead and grab your yarn. I'm going to pull this down here so we have that little twisty thing where I can still pinching it. You're going to go ahead and grab your yarn, and then you're going to hold your loop and the tail right here, and you can go ahead and let go, and then you'll have something that looks like this. And then from here you're going to go ahead and do a chain, 1, 2, and you're going to do 3 chains, 3. Like this. And now you have your little magic ring. You want to make sure you still hold this in place till we get a few stitches in the ring, just so nothing happens and it doesn't like fall apart. So in the magic ring, we're going to do 11 double crochets. And to do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook through your magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. So then you should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2, and that's going to be your double crochet. We need a total of 11 double crochets, so let's do 10 more. I'll show you again. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the magic ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. So now we have 2 double crochets. Let's do another one. Just like that. Now I have 3 double crochets. I'm going to go ahead and do 8 more. Alright, I just did my 11 double crochets, and sometimes that magic ring will get bigger as you're working into it because it kind of just like stretches out. So if it's really big, that's fine, because now we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten our magic ring. And what you want to do is just take the tail of your yarn and then you're just going to pull on that so it tightens up your ring. You can go ahead and pull that nice and tight. So then it closes up all of our stitches like this. From here, we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of the 3 chains that we made at the beginning of this round. So if you look right here, we have our chains. We're going to take our crochet hook and then we're just going to go on top of the top chain like this. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then we're going to put this loop into this one like this. And that is going to be a slip stitch. Go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now in that same space where we did our slip stitch, which is this chain space right here, we're going to do a double crochet in that same hole. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. So now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. There's our double crochet again. And now in our next stitch, which is these 2 loops here, we're going to do 2 double crochets in there. There's 1 and 2. So now we have 2 double crochets in that same stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to do the same thing, 2 double crochets. And then we're just going to repeat that all the way around till we make it to the end of this round, just by doing 2 double crochets in each of the stitches. Okay, you've made it to the end of the round, and when you recount your stitches, you should have 24 stitches, and also the 3 chains that we made at the beginning counts as your first stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and count these stitches to make sure I have 24. Okay, I have 24, so that's perfect. And now we're going to slip stitch in the top of the 3 chains that we made at the beginning. So just like we joined this first row, this is exactly how we're going to finish off this round. So insert your hook through the top of that top chain, like this, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then put this loop in through here. Just like that. And now we can begin on our next round. Start off by chaining 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. After you chain 3, we're going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch, which is right here. And we're going to do the 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, just like that. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do only 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And then we're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around until we have 4 unworked stitches. So we're going to stop right here. I'll show you whenever I get to that point. So I just did the 2 double crochets, and now I'll do 1. After 1, you're going to do 2 in the next stitch. And then just repeat that pattern. Okay, I've made it to this point, and I just finished 1 double crochet in the last stitch that I did, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unworked stitches, and what we want is 30 stitches all the way around and 3 unworked stitches. So I just counted 28 stitches, and also don't forget to count the 3 chains as one of the stitches, and we need a total of 30 stitches and then 3 of the unworked stitches. And since we have 5, I'm just going to do 2 more double crochets, 1 in each of these 2 stitches. So there's 1, and then the next stitch 2. So then we should have 30 stitches and then 3 unworked stitches right here, because this is going to be this part right here on the chicken. So from here, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. After you've chained 3, we're going to turn our work. So skipping this first stitch right here that's below the 3 double crochets, this right here, we're going to go straight into this next one right here, and we're going to do 1 double crochet in there. Again, we're only going to be working in the front loop like this. There's my double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Again, only in that front loop. 1 and 2. In the next stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. The next stitch, we'll do 1 double crochet again. And then the next one, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So after we did the 2 double crochets in this stitch right here, the pattern is going to go 1, 1, and then 2. 1, 1, and 2. So since we just did 2 in this one, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 in the next, and then 2 double crochets. We're going to continue this pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you back up when I get around here to show you how we're going to finish off this round. Also, make sure to work in the front loops only. Okay, I've made it to this part, and I have 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and then the 3 chains here. And I just did 1 double crochet in this last stitch, 1 double crochet in the stitch before, and then the 2 double crochets right here. In the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2. In the next stitch, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And then in the last stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Like this. And then we have the 3 chains right here, and we're just going to do 1 double crochet at the top of those 3 chains to finish off this row. Just like that. And then when you turn this around, you should have this little line right here around the circle, and this was made whenever we went and just crocheted in that front loop, so it looks real nice. Also, for the last row that we just finished, right before we start on the shells, go ahead and count the stitches and make sure that you have 40 stitches, and don't forget to count the 3 chains that we made at the beginning of that round. And next we're going to do these little ruffles that are on the chicken, or shells, you can call them shells. And to start on that row, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, And then we're going to skip this first stitch, and we're going to go into the second stitch, and we're going to do 6 double crochets in that stitch. And we're going to work into it normally where we go into the 2 loops. So let's do 6 double crochets in that stitch. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the stitch that's next to it and go into this second stitch from that shell, and we're going to do a slip stitch in there. So just insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then put this loop in through here. There's our slip stitch. So now we've completed our first shell. Let's make another one. We're going to skip the next stitch right here. We're going to skip that, and then we're just going to go into the second one from that slip stitch, and we're going to do 6 double crochets in that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we've made our second shell. We're going to need to do 8 shells for the body of the chicken, and then I'll show you what we're going to do once we get to this point by the head. So let's make another one. We're going to skip the stitch that's next to it, and we're going to slip stitch into the second stitch from the stitch that we were working in. So in here, we're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to skip the stitch that's next to it and go into the second one, and we're going to do 6 double crochets in there again, just like we've been doing with the other shells. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's our third shell. I'm going to go ahead and finish this till I have all 8 shells done, and then I'll meet back up with you so we can do the head. Okay, I just finished the 8th shell, and I just did my slip stitch, and now from here we're going to do 5 single crochets in the next 5 stitches. So in this next stitch we're going to do a single crochet, and to do that you're just going to insert your hook through the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both loops, and that's going to be your single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the next stitch we're going to do 6. In the next stitch we're going to do 6 double crochets to make another shell for the head. Let's do a double crochet. There's 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. From here you should have one more stitch and then the 3 chains right here. What we're going to do is we're going to skip the stitch, and we're going to go into the top of the 3 chains, and we're just going to do a slip stitch. Just like that. And now we can go ahead and cut our yarn. Pull your crochet hook up and tighten that. Next, all we need to do is make our comb, wobble, beak, and eye, and then we'll be finished. But I'm going to go ahead and sew in these white strings just so I don't have to do that later. I'm just going to take a crochet hook and then just sew that in. Ta-da! Okay, so here we have the body of our chicken, and now we can go ahead and we're going to add the wobble on to the head of the chicken first. Down here, what we're going to do is we're going to join our red yarn in the first single crochet that we made on this neck area right here. So we have our shell, our slip stitch, and then our first single crochet, and this is where we're going to join our yarn. So I'm just going to stick my hook through that stitch. I'm going to grab my yarn. I'm just going to pull it through like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, 1 and 2, and then what I like to do is I like to pull on the tail just to tighten up that last stitch. Now we have it somewhat secure onto our project. Now instead of sewing in this tail, I'm actually going to stitch it in with our stitches that we're about to make. So I'm just going to keep it on top of those stitches like this. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, because you can still sew this in later, but that's what I'm going to do. So in the same stitch that we joined our yarn into, we're going to do a single crochet in there. So just insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, so then we have 2, yarn over, pull through both loops. And if you saw, I kind of weaved in that tail along with that stitch. That's basically what I'm going to be doing. And now we're going to add 3 single crochets to our next stitch, but not in this stitch right here. We're going to go to the one below it. As you can see here, this is the single crochet, and then this stitch that we had done the single crochet in is where we're going to do 3 single crochets. So in this hole right here. And it's right next to the last stitch that we did. It's just like the one over. So go ahead and do 3 single crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, this is how I'm stitching in the tail. And then after that, you should have 3 single crochet stitches left before you get to like this shell right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a single crochet in the first and second one from this last stitch that we worked into. So right here is where we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we'll do another one right next to it. Just like that. And then this is going to be our little waddle. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut off my yarn. And then I also went ahead and cut the first tail that we had for this red yarn, and I'm going to sew in my ends as I am putting the head together, like the comb and the beak, and once we get all to that. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this in real quick, and then we will do the comb. To do the comb, what we're going to do is we're going to skip 3 stitches, and then we're going to go into that 4th stitch right here. This is where we're going to join our red color. Let's go ahead and attach our red yarn. Again, I just pulled it through to make a loop, and then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then tighten. And then from here, go ahead and chain 2 more, 1 and 2. And now this counts as our first double crochet in this stitch, and we're going to do 4 double crochets. So we're going to be separating this with 1 chain. So we have our first double crochet. Let's do another double crochet in that same stitch, and then from here chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 more double crochets like this. We're going to do the same thing in the next stitch, so we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. In the next stitch, we're just going to do 1 more double crochet, so just 1 in that stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch in this next stitch that we have right here, and this is going to be the last stitch on the head right here. So go ahead and do a slip stitch in there, and now we have our comb. We can go ahead and cut our yarn, and then our comb's finished. I'm going to go ahead and sew in the ends, and then we'll work on the beak. So go ahead and get your yellow yarn, and then we're going to join our yellow yarn into the first stitch right next to our like wobble. So this stitch right here is where we're going to join our yellow color. So again, I'm joining it the same way, where I just pull up a loop, go ahead and chain 2, whoops, and then tighten it. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. There's 1, another single crochet in the next stitch, like this. And then from here, we're going to turn our work, and then we are going to do a decrease or 2 single crochets together. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to insert our hook through the front loop of this first stitch here, and then the back loop of the second, like this. We're going to yarn over and pull up our loop like this, and then yarn over and pull through both loops. And there's our beak. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and then go ahead and cut the yarn. I'm going to go ahead and sew in the ends, and then all we have to do next is the eye. And there's our chicken. It's almost done. All we need to do is put an eye on there. Now there are those like little plastic eyes that you can buy. I've never had those before. I always end up just sewing on like little black eyes. So that's what I'm going to do here. But if you have like one of those attachment plastic eyes, I don't really know how they work, but if you want, you can go ahead and use one of those. And we're going to be putting the eye right here in this stitch where we had that shell. That's where we're going to be sewing on the eye. I'm going to cut off a little piece here like this, put it on my needle. This is a no-sew project, but the only thing you really need to sew on is the eye, but I can't think of any other way you'd put an eye right there without having to sew it in. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments. What I'm going to do here is I want the eye to be on both sides of the coaster, so it doesn't really matter if the back side doesn't look good, because you're most likely going to keep it this way, because this is like the front way. So on the correct side, I'm taking my needle, I'm putting it through these stitches here. I'm just going to weave that through to like the middle of that shell, and then of course I'm leaving a little bit of tail. And then from here I'm going to go straight down into this little section right here, and we're just going to put that straight through to the back, and then I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to stick it through to where black started at the top. I'm going to put it back through the same stitch again, pull that through. That looks good. I'm going to weave this around one last time, just like that. And then we have our eye. And then I'm just going to take the tail. I'm going to weave this in through these stitches so you won't be able to see it too much. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut off these 2 black tails. And then what I like to do is take my needle and just kind of push that black in further into like that stitch so that we don't see it on both sides of the tail. And there we have our little chicken. And the other side looks good too. It just has a smaller eye, but it looks pretty good. And now we have our finished little chicken coaster. They're so cute. There you have it. That's how you make your little chicken coasters. They're so cute and adorable. I actually have a chicken that looks like this. This is Cheeto, and he looks like this chicken. And let me know what you want to see next. This was fun. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give this video a like. And if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!